So, good afternoon, everyone. We welcome all of you to the Artificizen 2.0 session. So, before we dive into the today's topic, I want to take a moment to express my gratitude to each of you for joining us today. And I'm excited for the valuable insights and discussion that will unfold through this. Now, without further ado, let me introduce our esteemed speaker for today, Mr. Yasasri Vikramasinghe. He is a PhD candidate at Human Interface Technology Lab in New Zealand, and his experience to our discussion on virtual and augmented reality will enrich our conversation. So, without further delay, I pass the floor over to Mr. Yasasri Vikramasinghe to continue the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope you can see my screen and hear me.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So again, thank you so much, TriNet Innovations, for inviting me to do this session. And I believe we have participants connecting over YouTube also. So I think you already know the theme of this talk. So I'm going to discuss virtual reality and augmented reality. And the main goal of this session is I want you to get some kind of an understanding about these technologies, as well as what are the latest research trends. And I want you all to get inspired and motivated. So maybe either you're planning your industry, your profession, or whether you're looking for research opportunities, if you are looking forward kind of academic career. This will be helpful for both of those cases. So let's get into that. Before proceeding, I want to remind you that there might be some interruptions like network connectivity issues or some hardware infrastructure level issues. If something happens, please drop me a message over Zoom because we are conducting this over Zoom. So if you're connecting on YouTube, I'm actually not checking YouTube stream. So don't send messages over there. But if you're a Zoom logged user, you can drop me a message and let me know if something is not in the right place. So I can work on that and fix it. All right, so let's get started. Now, just a brief introduction about myself. So I'm Yasas, and I did kind of similar session with TriNet Innovation last year also. And this is my second time joining with you guys. So happy to do this session. So currently I'm a PhD candidate at HITLab. So HITLab means Human Interface Technology Lab, New Zealand. So it's under University of Canterbury, New Zealand. So it's a nice university located at South Island, New Zealand. The area is called Christchurch. So I'm from HITLab. And apart from my PhD research, I'm a Udemy instructor. So I have a couple of my courses on Udemy. Also, I'm a games researcher and a lead software engineer working. Right. So today, our outline is I'm going to introduce these technologies. I know most of you might have already experienced these technologies before. So I'm not going to dig deep into theoretical aspects of these technologies, but I'll give you overall idea about these mainly two technologies, virtual reality and augmented reality. Then my main focus is to discuss the application side. So what kind of stuff you can do. Then I'll be discussing hardware devices available, right? So hardware as in what are the latest virtual reality devices, augmented reality devices. And nowadays, it's not just hardware, also the application side. So I'll be discussing development frameworks and tools available for you, and then research opportunities. Don't worry, this is not going to be like a lecture or something, but rather than I want to discuss what are the latest practical aspects of these technologies, and especially how you can use these technologies for your academic purposes or research purposes. And feel free to ask questions during the session. You can drop us a message, and even you can contact our hosts of this session. So they might also redirect your questions to me. And anyways, I have dedicated a Q&A section at the end of this talk. Cool. So if you think, there are two main technologies we call immersive technologies. Virtual reality and augmented reality are the most popular common technologies among this immersive technology field. So if you consider virtual reality, that means you're completely inside an artificial world, right? So you need to wear a device we call head-mounted display most of the time. So you will be wearing some sort of a device, and through the device, you are looking at some artificially created environment, 3D world, right? So there are games or virtual reality experiences. So the main thing you want to understand here is it's completely artificial, and this reality technology allows you to immerse or jump into this artificial environment. And this technology provides immersive sounds, visuals, and also other sensations. For an example, haptics, like vibrations. Or even nowadays in virtual reality, there are sensations like smell, right? Sort of different types of sensations are there. So those are artificially created. But as a user of a virtual reality experience, you feel like you're actually in that particular artificial world. So this is like the very basic overall idea of virtual reality. So if you use virtual reality, like basically you are away from your real world. You are going to immerse into an artificial world, right? So that's the main idea of virtual reality. So for an example, if I show you like this example, now you can see these people, they are wearing a device. So we call it wearable device, or other term is head-mounted displays, HMDs. So this is, I think this is an Oculus, kind of a head-mounted display. So he is wearing and he's holding two controllers. So usually, typically nowadays, virtual reality devices, they come with controllers. So there's a left controller, right controller, and the person is wearing a headset. So through the headset, now he is inside an artificially created world. Now, this is a very famous virtual reality experience. I'll play this video and then I'll describe what's happening there. Right. Now, in this experience, actually, first they are getting into an elevator, right? And there's a big building. So the elevator goes to the top floor of that particular building, and then they get to see all the depth, all the outside of that particular building. And so there's a huge um, kind of a plant, we call plant means there's a kind of a step they can walk forward, and then they get to see like all the depth, height of their building, everything in that particular environment. So this user gets the sensation or the feeling of being in that particular highest level of that particular building. So it's kind of scary, but from the outside, actually the player is inside a living room. So there's no any reason to get scared. But because this user is wearing his head-mounted display and experience in this virtual reality experience, they get scared. So they sometimes get scream, or sometimes they get excited, nervous. So you can see how these users are reacting to this particular experience. Right. So as you can see, even though the visuals of this experience is not very realistic. For an example, this particular tree. If I show you, now this is a tree, like 3D model of a tree, but it's not very realistic. So the entire space, if you look at, it's not very realistic. But the sensation of being in this particular environment, it's so powerful. Like quality of the visuals, it matters, but it's not the entire reason behind the immersiveness of this experience. So virtual reality gives you it kind of teleports you to a different environment, and the sensation, it's so powerful. So this is a simple experience, but there are far more advanced virtual reality experiences that we can talk in a couple of minutes. Now, I just wanted to give you the idea of how virtual reality works, what you need to do to experience this particular kind of virtual reality technology. Now, if you consider why virtual reality gives you this kind of realistic sensation, we call this concept stereopsis. Stereopsis means naturally we have two eyes, so we get stereo vision, right? So right now, if you want to see this particular concept practically, if you close one of your eyes, let's say you close your right eye, and if you point out maybe your thumb in front of your face, and if you look at your thumb from your left eye, you will see your thumb from one particular perspective. By keeping your hand at the exact position, and if you switch your eyes, if you then close your left eye and if you open your right eye, and if you look at your same thumb finger, you will see your thumb from a different perspective, right? So here also you can see, now if my left eye is open, you can see I am covering a particular building here. So in front of me, there's a building. So this building, it's not visible from your left eye. But if you look at that particular same thumb at the exact position from your right eye, you get to see this building, right? So that means two different perspectives. From your left eye, it's one perspective. From the right eye, it's another perspective. That's how we see our real world. But if you look at a monitor, computer screen, or a mobile phone, it's just 2D screen. Even though you get to see 3D objects, animations, or movies, if you are using a 3D screen, it's just single perspective. You don't get that much of immersiveness. But the cool thing with virtual reality is it gives you stereo vision. So you usually in every virtual reality headset, there are two lenses similar to two different perspectives. That means even though you look at an artificially created world, you look at that from stereo perspective, from two perspectives. That's what makes virtual reality so immersive. That's one factor actually. So this concept we call stereopsis. Now, research says like vision or the visuals that we see has a major contribution to this immersiveness. So some individuals, like they believe visuals, 17 to 19% visuals, they depend on visuals to believe something is realistic or not. So that's a huge amount. So there are research findings. But if you want to build extremely realistic, extremely immersive virtual reality experiences, you need to think about other senses as well. Vision is just one sense, but there are a lot more. For an example, haptics, smell, even wind, right? So you can simulate these kind of senses, using different hardware solutions and software solutions, and you can create far more realistic virtual reality experiences. So that's what I want to discuss next. So nowadays, we have far more advanced virtual reality devices, wearables. So these three are the latest, more popular, latest devices out there. Meta Quest 3, like it's kind of affordable. compared to Meta Quest Pro, and it has a lot of sensors. So you can use Meta Quest 3. That's like a very good development device for you to experiment with VR application development. So it comes with 2 controllers also, like other wearables. And then Meta Quest Pro, also HTC Vive XR Elite. Now, these devices are latest, but if you consider to buy this from your country, like I hope most of you are from Sri Lanka, so in Sri Lankan market, it's kind of expensive. I think it's over 500,000, all of these devices. But it's compared to other, other manufacturers, these are my favorites and easy to develop applications. And it comes with a lot of advanced sensors. So you can track your movements, you can track your head movements, you can track your hand movements, right? And you can track your surrounding, right? So if you can see in here, MetaQuest 3, it comes with LiDAR sensors, cameras, right? There are a lot of sensors around these devices. One specialty with HTC Vive, it's very compact, it's very lightweight. So I got an opportunity to experience HTC XR device, and it's very light compared to other devices. So it comes with these 2 lenses, and this part is the battery. So they have put the battery behind of the headset. These other Meta headsets, they comes with the battery, but battery it's inbuilt to the headset. But HTC, they have moved battery away from the headset, and it's lying back of your head. If you wear it, it lies back, right? So it's kind of cool way to reduce the size of your headset. And you can even disconnect this battery pack, and you can directly plug your headset to your computer and play experiences also. So it's relatively lightweight wearable. So anyways, nowadays, there are a lot of VR headsets getting released, and infrastructure, I think it's ready most of the time. It's very sophisticated infrastructure, and it's pretty easy to build VR experiences nowadays, compared to early days. Then I'll show a couple of videos, actual devices. These captures are from my research lab, so I think you might be interested to see. So you can see a couple of old devices, and also state-of-the-art modern devices. So this is a showcase of virtual reality, and also there are a couple of augmented reality devices here. So I'll play this clip to you. Now, something I want to highlight here is, can you see there are a couple of fans here? So this is kind of a simulation space that we have built. So in our lab, we design virtual reality experiences, and we use these fans to simulate wind. So imagine a VR scenario, like you teleport into a ship, let's say, then ship starts to cruise, and if you get outside, if you're on top of the deck of the ship, let's say you in realistic scenario, you feel the wind coming towards you, touching your face, wind movements. So if such VR simulation is there, to make it more realistic, we can turn on off these fans individually, and we can recreate the wind direction, wind speed, wind direction, everything we can like control. So that's one particular simulation that we are testing. So all of these fans are like individually controllable. So we are adding more sensations. It's not visuals, but also we can recreate other emotions or feelings. In this case, it's wind. And another thing I want to show you is, can you see there are two boxes here? So these are to simulate smell. So these are like, we can insert different types of smells. It's kind of like similar to perfumes, but we have different types of smell generators. It's kind of like we can insert those as cartridges to these equipments, and these equipments can inject different types of smells. So if you are, let's say, if you are inside a, like say inside a artificially created garden, then of course we can inject like maybe smell of roses or other flowers, right? So different smells we can recreate. So in this particular space, we can create wind and also smell both together, and it like enhances your virtual reality experience. So these are like state of the art or like research stuff happening. It's hard to find this stuff from consumer market, but this is where research goes. Like, and also we were testing this kind of stuff years ago even. So uh, people are like testing different approaches to make virtual reality experiences much more believable. So these are some examples, right? And this is the other thing. This is really cool, and I think there are very limited number of equipment like this available in today's even in research labs. So we call this particular device a Nova 360 ball. So it's like you can get into this 3D ball, and you are going to wear a wearable device, virtual reality headset. But the thing is, now this ball rotates, it moves, it can move 360 degrees. But because you are inside a virtual reality artificial world, you don't see, or you don't even get scared. But if you try this without the virtual reality headset, probably it's pretty scary. You will maybe scream. But if you immerse into virtual world, you actually enjoy this moment. So I'll play this, and you can see this particular participant. He wears a headset, and he's going to play a kind of a flight simulation kind of an experience. So he get to sit in kind of a fighter jet, and he's like actually flying that fighter jet. So in actual fighter jets, you can get even 360 movements, right? You can flip your flight or everything. So he can do it everything, all of this in virtual reality. And he gets that sensation by physically moving this particular 360 ball. So this is pretty cool. I will play so you get to see how it works. Right. So here you can see even these players are upside down sometimes, right? So, but they are not screaming. All of these participants who are trying this particular device told like it's very fun to play, it's very immersive, a kind of stuff, but not they didn't mention stuff like I got scared or something like that. That's because you are really immersed into this virtual experience, and this moment actually aids or supports that particular immersion. So it's kind of a supportive equipment to enhance your virtual reality experience. So we are using these kind of devices to simulate different conditions, right? We can build training applications using virtual reality, maybe training for pilots, right? Training for maybe firefighters or even trainings for sports, different like athletes. We can use this equipment to train athletes, right? There are very interesting research ongoing. So earlier days, if you talk virtual reality and research, like those research were very fundamental or very like high level researches. But now there are a lot of application sides of virtual reality. So haptics, vibrations, that's another side of the virtual reality research, and training simulations, right? And also you can use virtual reality as a therapy for some diseases, especially like to get rid of different phobias. You can use virtual reality and even augmented reality. If you are scared of heights, right, you can use virtual reality and like you can train people to get rid of this scares. You can do different sort of things because if you are doing these kind of things in virtual reality, you have the control. So, for an example, if you are scared of heights, how to get rid of that? Definitely you need to get into um, highest places and actually experience it. But if you are scared of heights, you might not climb a mountain or you might not climb a tall building, right? But if you can experience it in VR, we can gradually increase the height, right? So first we can ask you to step into maybe one or two steps and look down, and then we can gradually increase the height because it's artificial world. You have control. You can decide the height of a particular building or whatever, right? Then gradually, step by step, we can train patients to get rid of these heights. It's just a very simple explanation I did, but likewise, actually medical professionals, researchers are doing these kind of researches using virtual reality as a technology behind. Right. Then I will jump to augmented reality. This is my favorite because my PhD and my research is mostly into augmented reality. So augmented reality is kind of opposite to virtual reality. So in virtual reality, you are in an artificial world, but in augmented reality, you are in real world, right? But you can blend or you can mix some virtual content on top of your surrounding, on top of your real world. So in this technology, in augmented reality, you are not completely away from your surrounding. Instead, that you are augmenting or you are like improving your surrounding by adding virtual elements to your environment. For an example, now from your right hand side, I'll play this video. So here you can see I'm like running an augmented reality experience inside a building. So this is your real world, but based on your real world, you generate or you include some artificial content, but still you're in this particular actual location inside this building. Here you can see it's pretty cool. Like you are still inside this building, but again, you get to see some virtual content coming from this portal kind of element. So you're adding like alien contents to your real world. Right. So interestingly, this particular experience, right, it's a web AR experience. That means you don't even need a dedicated software to experience this. This is just a web browser. So even you can try if you go to this URL, it's kind of 8-ball app, kind of a augmented reality development framework. So if you go to 8-ball, you can see a lot of similar AR experiences, and these experiences run on browser. That's the nice thing. So if you open this kind of experience using your mobile phone browser, you also can experience this kind of AR, augmented reality applications. Right. Now, to experience augmented reality, right, uh, you have multiple options actually. So if you talk about devices, common device is HoloLens. HoloLens, there are a couple of versions. I think two is the latest one. A Microsoft HoloLens, it's a popular but very expensive device. It's from Microsoft, and they have a very good development platform also. So you can build augmented reality applications using HoloLens. And the other thing, recently released Apple Vision Pro. Now, it's arguable. I can't say it's entirely 100% augmented reality device, but they call it spatial computer. But you can actually build and experience augmented reality using Apple Vision Pro. And I believe the release of Apple Vision Pro um, take like make augmented reality more popular among general public, because as of now, even today, most of the general people, they are not aware about these technologies, even though these are like very old technologies right now. But still, it's not popular among general public. But with the release of Apple Vision Pro kind of devices, this will be mainstream, and I believe it will be kind of a turning point, and people might even use augmented reality for their day-to-day tasks. Let's see. And also, Niantic, it's a famous augmented reality development company. If you know Pokemon Go, the world famous augmented reality game, Niantic company is the behind development company of that particular game. So they developed Pokemon years ago, and it became like the most popular, most successful augmented reality game to date. Even now, millions of people play this augmented reality game. So they are entering into augmented reality hardware field also. So they have announced like they are also going to release augmented reality glasses in near future. So they have released these reference designs, some mock-ups, prototypes, and I think they're actually working on those devices as well. But my favorite is mobile phone. So you can use a mobile phone as an augmented reality device. So you can easily develop applications and run on your mobile phone. So it's very accessible. So that's what even in my research, I always use handheld devices, mobile phones or tablets, because if you build augmented reality for like handheld devices, it's very easy for you to market it or bring those experience to general public, because everyone has a mobile phone, so they can experience. But if you build it only for a wearable device, it limits the number of users, but it depends on your use case also. But in my work, I use handheld devices. So this is a very recent augmented reality application, and I'm going to show. So Dyson, a popular company, they build vacuum cleaners, hair dryers, things like that, even fans, right? Dyson. So recently they announced augmented reality supports for their vacuum cleaner. That's pretty cool. So I'll play this video and you can see how they are using augmented reality for their products. Now here, what they're doing is it's a mobile handheld device-based augmented reality experience. So when you vacuum your house, let's say your living room, they track where you cleaning, and they create kind of an overlay, or in augmented reality, they display where you actually clean and where you need to clean. So there's a very clear marking, or you see like there's a purple coloring happening. So as you vacuum, as you progress, it creates these paths using augmented reality. So this is how you see in augmented reality. It's an overlay. It's virtual elements appearing around your real world, right? So by highlighting where you have cleaned, it's easy for you to identify where you have cleaned and other remaining areas. So at the end of your process, you can like use your mobile phone and look around, and there you can see you have already vacuumed the outside, but under the desk, under the chair, there are still remaining parts. So you can go there and clean it again. So it's kind of fun and kind of a useful way of using augmented reality for day-to-day work, right? So this is a very recent application of augmented reality. Cool. I hope you are getting an idea about these technologies as I progress. So why does augmented reality matter? So if we talk about especially handheld augmented reality, you are more connected to your real world. And that's what makes me happy or inspired to do augmented reality applications also. There are pretty cool like interactions you can introduce, because even you can hold your mobile phone and you can even walk around. But if you're wearing a wearable like virtual reality headset, your movements, it's pretty limited, right? You can't move outside because you're completely cut off. You don't know whether you are going to collide with a wall or any other furniture, right? But if it is augmented reality, you get to see your real world, right? So that's pretty like a good way, especially to motivate people to do physical activities. Even there are augmented reality applications to motivate people to do workouts, right? And some applications are there to motivate people to run even. So these are possible scenarios because augmented reality allows you to see your real world. And here you can see your right-hand side. This is kind of a very simple application I did. It can track your hand. So there's a virtual element, a bird flying. And if I point my palm, the bird can fly towards my palm and land on it. So augmented reality applications even can track. Even virtual reality applications can. But I find this hand tracking in augmented reality, it's pretty cool way. It's kind of a new way, a new kind of interaction to make your experience more engaging and fun, right? So yes, so uh, my main point to try augmented reality is because more connected to your real world. Now, with the Apple Vision Pro, you can see they have included like a lot of sensors. There are LiDAR sensors, LiDAR scanners, and then cameras, right? There are multiple cameras pointing forward underneath of the headset. There are a lot of cameras, and then infrared sensors, and also light side cameras. There are a lot. So what's the point? In augmented reality, it's very important to track your surrounding. Tracking, it's a big part when it comes to augmented reality. You need to track your hands, you need to track your physical surrounding, right? And also you need cameras because you need to see your surrounding. If not, you can't get an idea about your surrounding, because we discussed augmented reality blends virtual content with real world. So your device should be able to see your surroundings first. Then only you can add virtual content. So Apple Vision Pro, people say like Apple Vision Pro is the most um, sophisticated or highest end device which tracks your hand, pinches the gestures. It's very accurate and very easy to use thanks to these sensors. So you can see it's pretty amazing how they have added this many sensors to a compact wearable device. So tracking, it's a big part. So my recommendation, if you want to build augmented reality, I find especially iPhones and iPads are way better than trying Android devices, because recent iPads and iPhones, they come with LiDAR sensor, right? Just next to your camera lens, there's a LiDAR sensor. I think from my iPhone 12 onwards, 12 Pro onwards, they included LiDAR sensor only for Pro models. And also from, I think, 2020 onwards, iPads also got LiDAR sensor. So from those years onwards, Apple was trying augmented reality, and then they introduced LiDAR sensor to Apple Vision Pro also. So from my experience, I have noticed if your augmented reality application runs on an iPad or Apple iPhone, tracking is very good. So that means you get very realistic, very good quality augmented reality experience out of that. But of course, if you try an highest end Android phone, also it works smoothly. But having LiDAR sensor, it helps for you to get good idea about the depth of your surrounding. Right. And yes, and then they introduced this augmented reality glasses. They call it spatial computing. But mostly, like, I see a lot of AR applications out of this Apple Vision Pro. And then there are a lot of AR games. So Pokemon Go, very popular one. And then you have a lot of AR sports, basketball games. There are a lot of like geocaching, like kind of hide and seek kind of games. There are a lot of augmented reality games. You can download a couple of games from your App Store or Play Store. And I encourage you to give it a try. At least give it a try of Pokemon Go. It's worth to try. And the Pokemon Go company, Niantic, recently even released a couple of newer games like Monster Hunter type of game. And also they have another game called Pikmin Bloom. There are very cool set of AR games in the market, free to try. So yeah, give it a try. So because of this augmented reality nature, you get to explore your environment also. Because of the Pokemon Go, people used to like walk many kilometers just to find Pokemons out there in their surroundings. So some people even started like doing hiking, going through trips just to play the game, right? It motivates you to explore your surrounding also. It's just your handheld phone. So there are no any restrictions. You can step out from your home and explore. And it's very nice way to like get to know other people also through games. So there are a lot of games like remote collaborations and multiplayer games. So we consider these social aspects of these games as well. Like games help to build new connections, new friendships. So augmented reality, it's a very nice way to explore your nature. So it's not like you are just sitting on a couch and playing a game, but if it is an AR game, you can be more engaged. Right. And I'll discuss one of the latest kind of research that we are doing at my department also. This is basically like currently we are investigating multiple aspects of these immersive games. So we designed a game connecting multiple people from different locations to connect and play kind of a game. So I will show how it works. So my research team includes Professor Stefan, Professor Heidi, and James. So there are 3 supervisors for this project, and I'm the main primary researcher. So I will show some of the game designs that we are currently working on. Now, we came up with this idea called like, what if you scan or you record your, let's say, your home, your interior, let's say your bedroom. So if you take a recording of your entire living room or your bedroom, we can convert it to a 3D model. And if we use augmented reality, we can show or we can share this particular room with other players. So it's like, let's say there's a person called Kamal. So I ask Kamal to scan or record his bedroom and share it with me. And if I have a mobile phone and if I download his particular bedroom, I can visualize or I can get to see his particular room. And the interesting thing here is I can use this particular bedroom in augmented reality and I can join. So I can join with him and I can like virtually be present at his particular bedroom. So it's like kind of a platform or kind of a remote shared space, and multiple people can join to particular his bedroom or living room, and then together they can do some kind of collaborative stuff. So this was the very high level idea. So this is the first step. So I used a framework called Niantic Lightship and also another app called Scaniverse. So you can try this. If you use Scaniverse, you can scan your surrounding. So in this video, you can see I'm scanning a kitchen space. So this is a kitchen. So I'm just holding my iPad and moving around. So I'm scanning. Then you can see after a couple of minutes, I get a 3D model, actual representation of my kitchen. So here you can see this iPad, the second iPad, it shows the scan space as the 3D model. So this is like, it's not perfect scan, but it's okay. It's fine for a augmented reality experience. So first step, I started with a scan. Then I convert it to a 3D model. Right. Then we experimented how we can share this space with another player. So we used, from your right hand side, you can see this is a portal, so augmented reality portal. So we use portals to share these 3D scans of spaces with each other. So you can see the player number 2 from your right hand side is in an outdoor environment. But using augmented reality, we can visualize that particular 3D scan space through a portal. So he get to see the other player's space. So now this is kind of very nice interface. So even he can pass resources, objects through this portal to his space. So we thought this is pretty cool idea to experiment further. Then what we did was we created a fire inside this shared space. So here you can see from your right hand side, this particular remotely shared space now has a fire. So we made it kind of a game now. Now there's a fire happening. So we asked player number 2, who is in outside area, to maybe go find water and pass this water to your friend who is in danger because there's a fire. So the player number 2, outdoor player, needs to go and find actual water in his space. Let's say there's a pond nearby. So he need to physically walk towards the pond and point his mobile phone or tablet towards the pond, and then the app can detect whether he's pointing towards water resource. Then from the game, we can detect whether it's water or something else. If it is water, we can visualize or we can recreate maybe a water bucket or something. And then we can ask that particular player, come back to this particular portal and share this particular water bucket to your friend so he can extinguish the fire. So we thought this is pretty cool way of using augmented reality to make people physically interactive and also to like collaborate with remote players. So this was our idea. So this is kind of an initial step that we took. Next, we even experimented different ways of representations. So initially we tried portals and we tried a couple of also like full immersive, like real world size spaces. And also we tried very small miniaturized versions of this same 3D scan, but we presented in different ways. Because one of our research objectives was to identify the best way to share these remote 3D scans with other players. So this was kind of our research question. So that's why we tested 3 different modes. And then this is the cool part here, like we tried like real-time object detection algorithms. So this comes with machine learning, artificial intelligence background, but we used this Niantic Lightshift framework. This is one of the very nice augmented reality development frameworks out there. So they provide inbuilt support to detect set of real world environments. So it can detect water, it can detect ground, sky, buildings, grass, right? So we use these inbuilt features and modified our game, and we asked our participants to actually walk in their physical space and collect real world resources. Now, this is one experiment we are like asking our participants to go find and collect wood from trees. So participants, they are physically walking towards tree and tapping a button on the iPad to collect wood. Likewise, we can do like resource collections using these machine learning algorithms inbuilt to our augmented reality framework. So we can make these augmented reality games much more interactive. That's why I'm again repeating, we can't do such thing in VR because you are limited. You can't move. You can't walk freely wearing a headset. But in AR, it's more connected to real world. So you get a very good spatial awareness. So you don't like collide with physical objects. Like even there's a slight risk even in AR because you are so focused to your mobile device. And maybe if you walk straightforward, like without focusing too much stuff into your surrounding, there's a kind of a risk, but it's less compared to virtual reality. So we experimented different types of resource collections also. So we are still working on this game design. So our goal is to like convert your surrounding to playgrounds and connect multiple people from different locations to join, connect, and play together. So player from New York can join with a player from Sri Lanka, and maybe New York player can scan his room and invite you to join this particular room. So being here in Sri Lanka, you get to see his room in AR in front of you. So you can maybe share objects or do any sort of um, game elements, game activities together in AR. So that's one particular research we are interested. And then I told you like hand tracking, hand interactions. So you can even introduce these kind of hand tracking. So I have a dedicated blog. If you're interested how to implement this kind of an experience, it's pretty easy. So you can scan this QR code. So it's you will go to my blog. There you can get, it's a very simple 5-step guide to build such a augmented reality experience. And then nowadays for development, there are very sophisticated high-end development platforms available. So you can even build augmented reality experiences without physically going to a particular location. So you can scan a location and you can ask someone else to scan and send that particular location, and you can import it to your development environment and you can work on that. So in this particular slide, you can see this is Unity 3D. Unity 3D is a game engine. So we are using definitely like if you are into augmented reality or virtual reality, Unity is one of the most important tools to know. So it's like Alphabet for AR or VR. So there are two very common game engines, Unity and Unreal. So I find Unity it's very easy for beginners. So this is a screenshot from Unity. So you can scan an environment and get it to Unity and use it as a reference and implement virtual augmented reality experience. So here you can see I'm adding two artificial pots or like indoor plants to my experience, and I build it to my iPad. And from your right hand side, you can see I'm at the actual space. There I get to see those AR content, augmented reality content in my real world. So I could implement this just using Unity and this particular 3D scan using a reference and use it. So earlier days, people used QR codes. We call those marker-based augmented reality. You need QR code to generate virtual content, to position them, or to anchor them to exact location. But nowadays, you don't need QR codes. You can work like this. You can anchor content using GPS coordinates and all other physical attributes of the scan. So it's pretty accurate and very stable compared to early days. So this is a markerless augmented reality experience. So this is also like I have written another blog. So if you are interested, feel free to visit, scan this QR code, and you can read how I made this. And then this is kind of a very latest application of augmented reality. Now here what I'm doing is I'm scanning this fire extinguisher, right, using my iPad. So I can actually create a 3D virtual copy or a clone of this fire extinguisher. So here I scan my fire extinguisher and this is a clone. So you can replicate or create digital twins of real world objects using this LiDAR scanning and these technologies. And the interesting thing is now I get to see that clone in AR. So it's pretty cool now. What I was trying is that I wanted to create virtual copies of physical objects and share these objects with multiple players of a particular game, and resource sharing, how we can help. Let's say, remember the fire experience I showed you earlier? There's a kitchen fire in that particular kitchen. So if someone wants to extinguish the fire, I can ask a particular player to actually go and find a fire extinguisher and then scan it. And we can create a virtual augmented reality copy of that particular object and then share this object with that particular player who is in danger, fire, right? So he can use this object to extinguish a fire. So that's kind of collaborative actions we can do. So this is kind of experiment I did, creating virtual copies of physical objects. So to do it, I used a scanning framework of Niantic Lightship. So it's there. If you search scanning framework, you can see how it works. But unfortunately, there's a newer version of this scanning Lightship. Nowadays, it's Lightship ARDK 3.0 versions. So in 3.0 versions, still they haven't implemented this scanning framework. But if you use version 2. Something, you can use this scanning framework and build similar experiences. Right. Now I think you might be interested to know what are the tools out there to build such experiences. So definitely get familiar with Unity. That's the fundamental thing. If you know Unity, you can easily build augmented reality or virtual reality experiences. So Unity itself, they have a framework called AR Foundation. So it's inbuilt with Unity. So if you know Unity, you can easily use AR Foundation to build augmented reality applications. Or else you can use Unity and Lightship, right? That's what I use for my augmented reality applications. Or else you can use Euphoria. You can use any of these frameworks for free as beginners. So you can test. Yeah, and the nice thing is if you use Unity, you can build your experience to any kind of platform. It can be iOS, it can be Android, or it can be a Microsoft HoloLens or other device. There are limitations like framework specific limitations, of course, but generally most of the Unity applications are cross-platform support. So if you use Lightship, I can build it for Android and iOS, not for wearables yet, but for Android and iOS, I can easily build the same application to any of these operating systems, likewise. So AR Foundation, Lightship, and Euphoria are my suggestions. These are my recommendations for you. There are a lot of other technologies, frameworks out there too, but I believe these are the beginner-friendly options. And if you are into virtual reality, Oculus SDK or you can use OpenXR together with Unity to build virtual reality experiences. And there might be a lot other options out there, but I'm not very up to date with virtual reality development frameworks. Honestly, I have not used any of these virtual reality frameworks recently. But as far as I know, Unity with Oculus SDK is the most straightforward option to go. And then, if you want to read more about these technologies, these are a couple of recommendations from me. So interaction design book, it's pretty interesting read. It talks about human-computer interaction, interaction aspects, very nice. And if you're into games, game development, rules of play, I find this book very interesting read. And if you're into research, go to YouTube and search ACM SIGCHI. So there you can see very recent actual videos of research publications. So you can see where are the latest research trends going on. And also, if you really want to learn AR development, so I have 2 Udemy courses. I'm happy to give you free coupon codes if you want to enroll. So you can contact me. So I can provide coupon codes so you can get started. But unfortunately, some especially this second course, it's kind of outdated now because this Niantic framework it's now updated. So these steps might not work as I have described there because now they have kind of a different approach. But if you want to get kind of an overall idea, second course is good. And first one, it's using Boforia AR development. That's also you can give it a try if you are into development aspects. And you can visit my blog if you want step-by-step guide on creating experiences also, so you can visit. Yes, so I will end my talk with this quote, Leonard Sweet. So he's an American author. So he says, the future is not something we enter, but something we create. So technology is out there, but we need more people to think and design meaningful use cases, meaningful applications of virtual reality and augmented reality. But still, those are limited to set of industries and research. But if you can come up with a really nice, meaningful idea, it can be a game, it can be application like medical, manufacturing, engineering, whatever. If it has a big impact on the society, definitely you can create something remarkable and even you can be successful in this field. Yeah, that's all. Thank you for inviting me to this session. So these are my contacts. If you want, feel free to contact me. And also, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. That's it.